Welcome to the Best by the Worst. The best movies of all time, reviewed by the worst possible critics. If you don't believe us, keep listening to find out.
Welcome back, Barrett.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Every time.
I was about to.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate this heckin' beer can?
Yeah, it is a masterpiece.
You can see that on camera. So, Rocky Ridge Banks Collab, Greed Oak Cream Double IPA.
Which brewery are we going to bankrupt first?
If we bankrupt either of these breweries, a few things will happen. One, I'll cry. Two, Josh the Mammy will kill himself. Because we know how he feels about Banks Brewing.
Yep.
These are the things we should actively avoid.
Oh.
Might have to bleep out Josh's last name.
No, it's okay. I've given up on that.
It's not very carbonated, is it?
Let him die.
All right. The person you just heard speak hasn't been introduced yet.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you doing here?
Hello. Hello, friends.
We have a guest speaker this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Campbellowski.
How you going, guys?
Campbellowski.
I'm just here to defend my family's honour.
Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know, Campbell's my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to dislike your brother-in-law, but this one goes all right.
Ooh, like OJ. It's insane.
It's a lot.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed beer. I had one ready to go, but they said no. So
You weren't ready.
did you guys just?
Dude, I bet the mic caught that.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're getting nervous.
Yeah, so nervous.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Welcome to our podcast, Campbell.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, boys.
Here we go. Come on.
Oh, I nearly took a sip. That would have been rude of me.
Sorry. You did it to me last time as well.
I really like drinking beers.
Fucking nervous.
You've got nothing to be nervous about, mate. We are old hags at this point.
Yeah, I'm feeling really comfortable with this now. I think we found our groove, found our rhythm.
Yeah.
I think our guests have been largely successful. The bar's been set. No pressure, Campbell.
Cheers.
And for our listeners, welcome back.
Yeah.
Barrett, what did we listen to this week?
Listen to
watch.
We watched. Oh, man.
I was playing my phone a lot, so I was
This is
listening
our
to
11th episode, and I reckon we've got one intro right in the last 11.
I don't even got any right, so I'll take one.
All right, so we watched the 1938 winner of Best Picture, You Can't Take It With You.
Nice.
So Alex and I have watched it this afternoon. Campbell had prior commitments, so he has watched it in his own time, which I heard he
Which I
thoroughly...
thought everyone was going to do until I rocked up today, and it was just a.
We got
shitstorm.
distracted. There was people tearing up Barrett's driveway. I was fucking around with my phone. There's lots of things happening.
Yeah, it's a madhouse today. Anyways, the movie had a budget of $1.6 million, or $35 million today.
Yeah, well.
Everyone is dead, as per usual.
It's okay, look, one day they're not going to be all dead.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get there, but we're going to keep bringing it up until we get to a point where
What about the crow? Don't crows last like 100 years plus?
No, they don't.
Never mind then.
Wait, no, hang on. I'm genuinely, I don't know.
I thought crows last a hell of a long time.
No.
Some birds live for a pretty long time.
I'm going to give it a goog.
Like, oh my God.
All right. Everybody's
Oh, my wife wants me to bring up stop saying goog.
Oh, wow. How long do crows live for?
All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to keep going. So the plot of the movie.
So if you remove the dash between the two numbers, they would live for 78 years.
It's like 10 years, isn't it?
7, 8.
Yeah, it's what, 7, 8 years.
That's what I mean. You remove the dash, you're on it.
I don't know. There's a bird out there that lives a long time.
Oh, wow. The Australian raven lasts 22 years.
All right. Let me get through the intro. I'm glad I only wrote down a couple of facts about this movie because I feel like you two are going to severely derail this.
I learned a great fact just then. Keep going.
So the plot, not apparently, but essentially this rich dad, he wants to buy some land. The son falls in love with the daughter of the owner of the land.
Yep.
The owner won't sell. All works out in the end.
Yeah. It's almost a similar plot to a movie we watched not that long ago.
Go on. You want to drop your fact in, don't you?
A little bit.
You've already stolen one of my facts.
I'm going to steal a lot more before the night's done. So,
Wow.
if the plot is a little reminiscent of a, kind of rich man, poor man story and, love story and all with everything ends up good in the end. It's because the director, who is it?
Frank Capra.
Frank Capra.
Oh,
Capra.
Capra.
Close.
Yep. Famous director. Also made It Happened One Night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a movie that I'd really recommend watching.
Yeah. But get this. You're going to love this. So
But wait,
he
there's
won
more.
the Academy Award for Best Director in this movie we just watched, and It Happened in One Night.
Yes.
And not just that, he also won it for another one, I think in 1936, Mr. D Goes to Town or Washington or something.
Yes.
So he won Best Director Academy Award 3 times in 5 years.
Yeah.
Boom.
Just facts solid. Boom. I only brought 3 facts into this episode, and you've zipped one clean off.
Sorry, but just wanted to highlight, this director's on a hot streak. But
Yes.
his story's similar in some ways.
Yeah.
He's definitely got his niche and he's doing it well, but there you go.
Yeah. All right, Alex. That's the movie basically introed. So why don't you paint a bit of a picture of what was going on in 1938? Because
I totally forgot to get those facts.
what?
I'm kidding.
Oh, he just made a mug of you.
What?
Jesus.
Oh, you got mugged. All right. So, 1938, setting the scene. Are you familiar with this? I know you haven't listened to a lot of our content because you're a Scrooge.
Born in 95. I'm not
What?
familiar with
95?
30s. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why did I think you were older? Anyway, so 1938, things that happen. Hitler seizes control of the German army. It's getting spicy.
Wow. Look, I thought the war had broken out by 1938.
Not so much, but it's definitely close. So, another one. Teflon invented at DuPont.
A what?
Hang on. Let's rewind that sentence.
Invented a what?
Teflon
Has
was
been
invented by DuPont.
Yeah.
DuPont?
DuPont?
Yeah, the paint company.
No, they're a chemical company.
Oh, chemical company?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they make paint's a chemical, right?
I actually don't think they do paint, though.
This is worse than my bird fact.
Might have to give it another Google. Sorry, Brooke.
Sorry, she doesn't listen to this anyways.
Yeah, what a supportive wife. Anyway, so Teflon invented. Cool.
To be fair, her brother-in-law has been more supportive. No, her brother. My brother-in-law is being more supportive of this right now than she is.
Yeah.
She refuses to come on.
I also think nylon was invented the same year, but I didn't want to put in two. But fun fact. Okay. This one is super irrelevant, but I just loved it, so I had to share it. So Douglas Wrong Way, his nickname, Corrigan, arrives in Ireland 28 weeks after his flight left from New York that was destined for California.
What? Can you break that down for us, please?
He flew from New York with the plan of going to California. 28 weeks later, ended up in Ireland.
Was he confused when he got there, or?
Well, Douglas Wrong Way, Corrigan. I'm sure he was pretty confused.
Yeah.
Right?
Did he have the nickname before or after the?
After.
Okay. I was
Yeah.
sure, so,
I think you earned that nickname after that.
So, what happened? Do you have any more info of how did...
Because I have too many facts this week. There were too many cool things that happened. I got lost. Okay, so the next one. The Treaty of Munich is signed by Hitler, Mussolini, Daladier, not sure who he is, and Neville Chamberlain, so the UK Prime Minister at the time. And what that did was allow the German forces to take Sudetenland back into Germany from Czechoslovakia. So the idea was just give Hitler what he wants, which is this section of Czechoslovakia back then called Sudetenland or Sudetenland. I don't know how you pronounce it. Anyway, and so they all just signed this agreement to let him take it to try and appease Hitler, which obviously didn't work. And, that's why Neville Chamberlain's kind of not looked at fondly these days.
Poor Nev.
Yeah, Nev.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely hotting up now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some fun facts flying my way. Jesus.
Another one. So, LSD, first synthesized by Swiss chemist Dr. Albert Hoffman.
LSD, like the drug.
All right, now we're heating up.
There you go.
Didn't they trial that on soldiers or something?
I'm going to get to that fact when the time comes. You better believe it. Because that's a conspiracy that got proven.
This is not...
Sorry.
This
No
is not a
chat.
conspiracy
Sorry.
podcast.
All right, I get lost in it. Will that get us cancelled?
No, I'm just not letting it happen.
Oh, okay.
I'll just
Anyway.
edit you right out.
Fair enough. Australian fact. Again, a little bit bare. I don't know if you guys know about this one, but I thought it was pretty wild. So, In this year in Australia, Bondi Beach, 300 beachgoers are dragged out to sea from 3 freak waves. This is referred to as Black Sunday. All were saved but 5. So there were 80 lifesavers. All were saved except 5.
80 lifesavers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you guys know about this?
No.
I certainly didn't.
So the people who were meant to save people didn't get what?
Yeah, 300 people got dragged out from these waves
Oh yeah, but 80 lifesavers went out to save.
to get them, and almost saved all of
So
them.
then there was 380 people in the water.
Yeah. And 4 out of the 5 were lifesavers. No, I made that up.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm pointing out. It's very hard to make jokes with your hand on a podcast.
Yeah, no, 100%. As soon as I did it, but I had to commit to it.
How do you already have 2 Jacks? What happened here?
I don't like drinking out of glass.
Yeah, that wasn't the problem. The problem was the number of cans. Not the,
I don't think he likes Jack's existing at this point.
Also, as Barrett said, it's a listening media, so it doesn't matter how many jacks are on the table.
there's also cameras.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
This beer's good, by the way.
It is.
So that's 1938. Okay,
Fantastic.
Happy?
Yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah,
Nice. Well, that's my work done.
that's
Over to you,
my
Barrett.
work done.
All right. I'm going to start us off on the plot. All
on
right,
it.
so, Campbell, I don't know if you've listened to recent episodes. What we started sort of by happenstance, accidentally started doing. So I'll write down the plot of the movie and I'll try and tell the story as best I can. And you two are kind of going to interrupt. I've been told it's similar to a podcast called The Dollop.
Really?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Clearly ours is better.
Would not go head to head with them. They are quite sizable.
All right, let's start some beef.
100%.
Fuck those guys.
I'm all about picking fights with people I shouldn't. Let's do it.
No. All right. So,
Scared.
opening scene of the movie. So we see a larger, rich, old guy, and he's planning a big deal.
Yeah, he's the Wall Street guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. He wants to get this big business deal together. I don't know if either of you found out any more information about this, but essentially he has to buy 12 blocks of land, and he gets 11 of them, and the 12th won't sell.
Blakely with AP. How's it going? You what? What trouble?
Now, wait a minute. Don't bite my head off. I've got all 12 blocks. Everything. With the exception of one little lot, and I can't get the man to sell.
Yeah, they won't sell to him. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
We're happy with that. They even went to the effort of offering the last landowner double
Yes.
what his block
So
was
the
worth.
original offer was 50,000, and then it went up to 100 grand.
Yeah.
Which, when we circle back, we'll tell you what the final price was.
Yeah, a lot of money though.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
absolutely. So this Wall Street guy's losing his mind because it's like, what person would not accept this offer? So then he's going on to his team of lawyers and henchmen. Well, if they won't accept the money for it, there's other ways to get them out and sell it to me, right?
Yeah. So we start off sort of seeing that start to unfold.
Mm-hmm.
Then we cut to a scene of an old man walking into I think it's a bank.
Yeah, let's call it a bank.
I don't know what's going on, but essentially this old man walks in crutches into a bank, and there's a guy doing a job on some sort of machine that I have no idea what it was. Imagine a typewriter that's
No, it was
Making
more like a
this-
calculator that kind of like printed off as you went. I can't,
Yeah,
it's
it was
probably got a
huge.
name,
It
but
was,
like,
it was a Casio 1.
and they're all wearing. Yes, yeah. But they're all wearing those old school brim visors.
Yeah. He's got to keep the sun out when you're counting the money.
exactly.
yeah.
When
So
you're inside, yeah.
really big calculator / typewriter / what are the things that what prints a receipt? A receipt machine?
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah.
All right. So that's one of those.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
And the old guy starts asking him if he likes his job. And the answer essentially is no, because this guy goes, "Oh, I like to make other things," and then pulls this weird, like
It was weird. It was excellent. It was a little bunny that was popping out of his little pouch. and he spins around and pops out. It was so cool.
Imagine something the size of a coconut, except
Yes.
it pops open and there's like a little puppet rabbit that pops up and down and
Yeah.
its ears go up and down.
Yeah, and then the whole office starts gathering around, and then the main guy who's trying to buy the property comes around and goes, "What the hell is going on here?"
Yeah.
And figures out it's the guy making the ruckus is the guy who he's trying to buy the land off.
Yeah.
And he changes his tune pretty quickly.
Yeah,
he
so
does, doesn't he?
we about this time learn that the old guy that's walked in on crutches, it's Grandpa Martin. Oh,
Grandpa Martin.
Grandpa Martin.
And it was roughly at this point, Barrett, I said to you, that guy looks familiar.
yes,
And was I right?
you were.
Yeah. Where was he from? I'm going to give this one to you. Where was he from?
I don't remember.
Oh, I thought it was one of your 3 facts.
Was it? No. No.
God damn. Okay, I'll fill in the blanks.
Okay, yeah.
So, Granddad Martin, he is Otto from the Grand Hotel.
Oh, yes. We
yeah.
did talk about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
so he's in this too. And the real actor's name? Lionel Barrymore.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about the whole Barrymore fiasco. Not fiasco, family tree.
Let's go.
It was great because Campbell thought he was going to drop that little fun fact grenade on us. Mate, that was like 6 episodes ago.
I just wanted to talk about how much I hate Drew Barrymore.
Do you?
Yeah, who doesn't?
What?
I don't. What's wrong with Drew Barrymore?
What is wrong with Drew Barrymore?
Nothing.
What are you touching me for?
All right, yeah, exactly. Never mind. She's a very touchy person.
What's wrong with that? I'm a touchy person.
I hate it.
You don't want to be touched?
Yeah.
No,
Why do you think I keep trying to hug you all
Do
the time?
not start it. Do not start it. Let's just move on.
If you see Campbell in public,
Give him a hug.
give him a hug.
If he doesn't have $1 or doesn't do a bow,
Stop antagonizing other podcasts.
mate, if they're getting antagonized and they speak about us, free publicity.
I will throw my back out before I get hugged or touched by anyone else. I'll go broke by the amount of dollars I'm going to give out.
All right, I'm going to get us back on track. So, we then cut to a house, and it is chaos inside of this
No,
house.
backtrack.
Whoa, okay, yeah.
So they're at the bank thing.
Yeah.
Poppins agrees to come home
Yeah, Poppins.
with the granddad, the uncle.
So Poppins is the toy maker, right?
Poppins is the toy maker.
Yeah.
Who's my favorite character in the whole movie because his name's
Yeah.
Poppins, and I
And his wife is Mary, right?
couldn't give a shit.
You hear the joke?
I got I got it now. But Poppins comes to the house with them.
Yes.
Bingo.
All right. So we cut to this house, and it is absolute chaos. There's this girl. She wants to dance around the house. It's very confusing.
I thought that was your favorite character, Campbell.
I hated her with a
Turns out she's Alice's sister.
Yeah.
Who we haven't introduced yet, but Alice will become an important character.
Yes.
Shortly. Fireworks are going off in the house, and there's a lady
Yes.
operating using a typewriter. And as the fireworks that you weren't paying attention at this point, I'm pretty sure you're outside on that. Anyways, I'll bleep that out. So I'm pretty sure
Business call.
business call. I'm pretty sure. No, I've lost my train of thought. I've biffed this completely. Anyways, so there's a lady on a typewriter.
Yeah.
Fireworks are going off. Doesn't even flinch. Like it's like normality in this house. And there's actually this weird sign that falls off the wall, and it keeps falling off the wall for the entire movie. And they just keep putting it back up there.
It's not a weird sign. It says "Home Sweet Home."
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought everyone had that in their house.
No, I've got
But-
one that says Alex's Swamp.
No, but to explain the house more, it's more of a commune where you do what you want and create what you want, and
Yeah.
Yes.
that's the whole premise of this house.
It is.
It's
They're doing what they're passionate about, right? So you got
Yeah.
someone who just dances all the time, much
It's-
to your disgust.
hippies before there was hippies.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've also got, again, someone typewriting, making plays, who'd love to do it.
Yeah.
There's someone else making fireworks, someone else making candy. Poppins is making toys. They're expressing their true selves.
Yeah, the husband of this sister, also the girl that was dancing, the husband of her comes home and he's like, I've had this tune in my head all day, and starts playing music. And then that encourages the dancing that Campbell so much enjoyed throughout the movie.
So this, all right, look, before we move on, this woman throughout the whole movie, whenever someone claps their hands, snaps their fingers, or hums a tune, she can't contain herself. She just breaks out into dancing.
Yeah, it was uplifting and
But
joyful.
even in the background, I just hate her. I just hate her with passion. Move on.
So yeah, the character Mr. Poppins, who Campbell really adores at this point.
Yeah,
Mr. Poppins is very confused. All right, I think he's come to stay to a degree, but there was a guy that's standing there and he's like, "I came to deliver ice 11 years ago," and he's never left. So it kind of explains the type of mismatched confusion that's in this house. Okay, we then. You happy with the end of that scene? I feel like every time I move on to the next scene, you're ready to...
No, so during that scene, fireworks are going off, things are happening.
Firework in the chimney. Love that
The
part.
sign keeps on falling down, and no one mentions it, but they keep on putting it back up and up,
Yep.
They
which
do.
will come into play later on in the story.
Ooh.
Foreshadowing.
All right, now I'm happy.
Okay. Do we need to come up with some sort of signal that you're like...
Yeah,
you can-
every time he drinks at Jack's.
yeah.
I don't understand why you've got 2 cans open and a glass full of Jacks.
I look at my paper, every time I look back, another can of Jack's appears.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
But he's like drinking out of the glass, then the can, then a new one appears. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Anyways, so we cut to a new scene. Alice is falling asleep at her job, and there's a guy chatting her up, who we later find out is called Tony.
Tony.
Yep.
No, sorry. She was not falling asleep at her job.
Yeah, she's a stenographer.
Yeah,
she was stenographing.
No, she had her head on the
No,
table.
they were getting cozy with each
No,
other.
no,
Yeah,
no.
they're flirting.
They were
Because the
flirting.
scene before that, she goes, she works long hours at her job, she's really tired. And then the next scene is her with her head on her desk, and Tony's in there talking her up.
Yeah, so
And
now
then-
she's turning into a guy whispering into a woman's ears who's
that-
very tired.
That comes a little bit, yeah, a moment later.
Okay.
He's in there, and he's, sucking on her neck.
What? Did that happen?
Yes!
I missed that.
We were all paying attention to this movie.
Pass it mattered, yes.
So
Not an essay, but
he's kissing her neck, and Tony's mum walks in. Not overly impressed. She immediately pretty much walks back out and says she's going to go see his father. Yep. And in a roundabout way, he tells her that he is going to marry her.
Hot.
hot, so hot.
Right at this moment, there's a really funny scene in the movie that I do want to talk about. And he goes, I can get anything I can get anything I want if I yell loud enough.
I never in my life wanted anything that I couldn't get if I just yelled loud enough. Worked like a charm when I was a baby, and since then I've had so much practice that I'm terrific. Here, I'll give you a general idea.
It just starts
The working since I
screaming.
was a child, classic, we picked up very quickly as a spoiled little brat.
It's actually a pretty good way of summarizing that, yeah.
Yeah. And then he just like, oh, I'll show you, and just screams at the top of his lungs.
I did want to weave a fact in here. So Tony, played by an actor named James, was in...
No last name. He's just got one name.
It's like Cher, just James.
I didn't write down his last name. Thanks for pointing that
Neither
out.
did I, actually.
He
You
was
brought up his
in...
name.
He was in 80 movies over his career.
Hot damn, I've got a fact that I want to share that relates to that
Can I
too.
finish my fact?
I know we watched a movie from the 30s, but hot damn is you're not bringing that back, are you?
I've been using it for years.
In 1999, he was voted the 3rd best male actor of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
No.
what year was that vote?
In 1999.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
We don't even know his last name. We should probably find that out.
Yeah.
Because I actually didn't think he was that good an actor.
Okay.
Ooh, rough. But I've lost my fact, but I need to share it. Hang on.
Oh my goodness.
No, you'll love this.
I think this is the biggest disaster we've recorded thus far.
Nah, this is great. All right.
This is great.
I can't find it. But so that Lionel Barrymore, when I was going through his filmography, when I was trying to figure out where I saw him from, and then realized it was the Grand Hotel, that guy made some movies. I think it was in 1930 1994 or something, he'd made like 9 movies in 1 year.
Wow.
He was averaging like at least 5 or 6 a year. He was pumping out more movies than Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, so I was about to say they're almost Nicolas Cage numbers.
Yeah, and that was surprising. Yeah.
Where did Nicolas Cage go on that list of best actors?
Well, it was 1.
In
That's
1999,
implied.
he would have been number 1.
Yeah.
It would have been. All right, let's not. No need to Google that. Let's just move on.
No, 100%. 1998 was Con Air. Prime.
What? Oh, 1998, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
1999, best actor of all time.
Easy.
Right. Then he went bankrupt. Let's not go into that right now.
I was
gonna
going to
fact
buy
check
dinosaur
that.
bones, but
Yeah.
anyway, keep going.
He says a sentence. I admit it's a kind of left-handed, but I'm a left-handed kind of guy. And he's referencing him proposing but not proposing.
I thought that was the smoothest line I ever heard.
Well, you would.
No.
Pause. Found my fact. Scribbled it out by accident. In 1933, he made 8 movies. Lionel Barrymore. That's incredible.
What year?
1933.
Oh, I thought you said 1993, and I was like,
But they weren't massive productions like they are now, where there's
Yes.
locations and stuff. Like this whole movie was filmed in what, 3 or 4 settings,
Okay.
and they had to use film, so a lot of one takes had to happen. So
Okay.
let's not
But hang on.
suck them off too fast.
Hang on. Before you just throw him under the bridge, because clearly you don't like the Barrymores,
Fuck the Barrymores.
he was on crutches in this whole movie, wasn't he?
He was.
Can you tell me why he was on crutches?
So in the movie, the plot was his granddaughter dared him to slide down the banister, and then through sliding down the banister, he's stuffed his ankle up. Now, why was he in crutches during the movie?
So don't tell me how I came across this, but I did. So in 1936, a drawing table fell on him, crushed his hip. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Then on another movie production, because he was pumping these movies out, in 1937, he trips over a cable, breaks it again. Yeah, he fucked his hip badly twice. So then leading into 1938, this guy's on crutches because his hip's bugging and he's in pain. After 1938, he's almost permanently in a wheelchair. For the rest of his life, still pumping out movies.
right.
It seems like the world didn't want the Barrymores around.
He
Yeah,
wasn't.
where were you in 1938? Tripped over a cable.
Yeah.
He wasn't the dad in Wings, was he?
Huh?
It's a bad wheelchair joke.
Oh, I gotcha. No, that's a good one.
So we're not allowed to stutter on the podcast, but you're allowed to make fun of people in wheelchairs.
Whoa.
Whoa,
we're
whoa,
not
whoa,
making
whoa.
fun
We're
of
not
him,
making
no.
fun of people in wheelchairs. There was just a really weird,
I'm admiring how many movies he made in a wheelchair.
and there was a weird wheelchair scene in Wings.
Okay. All right.
If you'd listened to the podcast, you'd know about it.
I did listen to that. Isn't that the stuttering one?
There's no stuff.
There was no stutter. That got bleeped out. Anyways, so we now understand who all the characters are in this
Yep.
film. Old Grandpa Martin, he doesn't want to sell his house.
Nope.
Is the long and short of it. And he's got this whole clan of people.
But the reason he doesn't want to sell it, like we said, like his family and all these people in there, they're running their little independent businesses. They require that property to exist, for their businesses to exist, to operate out of. So it's more than just a house for him. It's a business location for 12 other people.
But also the whole community where they live in, if that's the last one that sells, the whole community's gone.
Yep.
But
Gentrification.
everyone in the community has sold their properties, hoping they wouldn't sell.
Yeah, because someone's going to stick it to the man. The other people couldn't afford to do so.
Okay. They seem to afford it later on in the scene.
Must be nice on top, Campbell,
I know.
being in the 1%.
They had a lot of money in the courtroom, I'm telling you that.
All right. I'm getting this back on
Yeah,
track.
yeah.
I'm interjecting. All right. So he receives a letter from the government.
I said, where's that letter that came for Grandpa last week?
Last week?
Well, I don't know. I remember seeing the kittens with it.
Well, who was it from? Did you notice?
United States government.
Really? I wonder what they wanted.
Yeah.
No more is said on this. It said he's received a couple of letters.
I've received a couple letters from the government too. I know exactly what is going through.
We'll come back to that later. Okay. So
We've got to plug our Patreon later on. The tax man cometh.
Alice comes home and tells everyone in the house that Tony has called for her.
Oh, nice.
Nothing to add? All right.
Seems legit.
Yeah. We then cut to a scene of Grandpa Martin and Alice up in one of the bedrooms of the house. And he is saying he doesn't want to sell the house because of his dead wife. Right, quite kind of a moving scene. Says it would be like moving out on her because the house is his memory of her. And then all sort of cements in why he's so stubborn about selling the house. It's worth more to him than money, is what he says at one point in the movie. I don't remember when that is. All right.
Is that around the same time as that scene that I really loved?
I think it was.
So
Please describe the scene, Campbell.
They're talking about how young Tony's coming around to meet with the girl, and the rest of them are talking about how they met each other. And what's her name? What's his name again?
Okay, so her name's Esther.
Esther.
And his name is, I can't remember. We'll call him
Craig.
Ben. Okay, great.
Craig. Ben. So Craig says we had the whole.
You got this. I believe in you.
No. So Esther
Yeah.
says he came for dinner one night
Yep.
and
Just
never left.
Yep.
And then he says the whole football team would have stayed if you had 10 more Esthers. But I heard arses. So I'm thinking he's just said, like, we could have just, if you had 10 more asses, we could have run train and would never left you. I didn't realize her name was Esther.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Campbell was so excited to show us this scene.
Yeah,
So Campbell's is showing me the scene because I clearly missed it and shows me, and I'm like trying to piece together what's so funny about it. He's losing his mind, and then he's like, he's saying asses, asses.
And you're nailing that impression of me. by the way. But
And then-
all right, can I just say the mixing on 30s films, the voice mixing, it's not great.
What do you
Like,
mean?
it's patchy.
Barrett got the 4K remix.
Yeah. On Blu-ray from eBay,
eBay.
which I lent you the DVD of.
And then Alex, not Alex, said her name's Esther. It was Esther, not asses.
It ruins the scene.
Right. Back on track. Okay. So, the letter. Foreshadowing. The letter comes back around. The income... No.
Income police.
No, not the
about to
I was
say.
going to say the income tax comes around, but what are they called? The
Tax man.
The devil.
Okay. We're not going down a tax tangent with you.
Alex has been hurt before.
Yes. Show us where the tax man touched you.
Can't, this is a PG podcast.
Okay. So the tax people arrive and they tell Grandpa Martin that he owes 22 years of tax. And then they say, why have you not paid your tax?
It probably still wouldn't even scratch the surface of my tax bill. But
To which-
Sure.
That's a big flex.
It wasn't a flex, it's pain. It's
Okay.
pure pain.
So anyways, you've interrupted a good... All right. So let me just get this sentence out for goodness sakes. Why have you never paid tax? He says, because I don't believe in it. And then,
Yeah.
and then Alex immediately sits up on the couch. Damn straight you don't believe in it.
I tried that, it didn't work.
Well, what can I do for you? Mr. Vanderhoff, our records show that you've never paid an income tax.
That's right.
Why not?
I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in it.
All right. So as this is happening, Tony's arrived at the house. And he's watching this whole tax thing unfold. And Grandpa Martin doesn't really know what tax is, doesn't understand it, doesn't want to support the government or anything that they're spending money on. He says he'll give money to the tax man if they spend it on something reasonable. And Tony is just laughing in the background at all of this because his dad's a successful businessman. He knows.
He wasn't really laughing. He was quite shocked. He
Oh.
thought his future wife's dad's going to prison.
Well, yeah.
All right. So, You happy with that scene? Do you want to? I'm not letting you go on a ramble about the tax department. Do you have anything to say, Campbell?
So at the start of the scene where the tax man comes in, they think it's the suitor coming to meet everyone. They don't know the tax man's coming, so he gets introduced to everyone,
Yeah.
and then Tony comes.
Yeah, because
do you mean by
Alice lives in this
suitor?
house. Do we mention that Alice lives in the house?
Like a tailor?
No, do you not know what a suitor is?
Yeah,
No.
suitor. What?
Someone who's trying to court
Tony.
someone, a suitor.
Ah,
Darren,
wow.
we need to teach you some words.
Yes.
Fictitious foreign word.
All right.
Now move on.
Move on. All right. Thank you. So,
We'll get a dictionary for you for Christmas.
Tony and Alice head out on a date. All right. Tony is becoming a little bit jealous of Alice's life. The fact that her family lives so
Yeah.
freely, they can experience all these fun things, they know who they are.
Yeah, because
And
they're
he-
uptight rich people, right?
Yeah, he's never experienced that before. And there's actually a scene that I really like where some kids come along and they charge 10 cents or
Yeah, they're on a date. Yeah, in a park. And
Yeah.
Yep.
To learn what dance? The Big Apple.
Is that a dance?
Did you guys not watch the movie?
Barely.
They went a threepence to learn the Big Apple.
Threepence. Is that a word?
Yes, that is very much
I mean,
a
it's a
word.
currency in England. We're in New York at the moment, so it wasn't a threepence. It was a nickel or a dime or something like that. But at the same time, the kids came around.
Yeah.
One of them had an accordion. They're like, hey, a nickel to learn the Big Apple, which was just swing move and stuff.
Accordion. They're an
Yeah.
underrated instrument.
Yeah, okay, let's not get on an accordion. We'll start a separate podcast for that.
But they get promptly chased away by a policeman. I don't really understand.
So you didn't even watch it. So the Big Apple was an illegal dance form back in the day.
What? How do you
What?
know this?
Swing dance. Because I watched the movie.
What movie did you watch?
This movie.
Is it the same one as us?
I don't know.
You must have the extended version.
You do know it wasn't a silent film, right?
Direct to commentary.
You don't just guess what's happening in the movie.
That's what we do every week. That's what this podcast is based on. I've never had anyone challenge me on what happens.
Yeah, well, all these eBay rips seem to have just Spanish subtitles, so it's hard to follow along.
the eBay copy.
Yeah. Had to wait in the post and everything. This
All
turned
right.
up.
Explain the rest of the movie, but tread lightly.
Right. So the police chase them away. They try to go out to dinner at some sort of fancy club of Tony's or a really fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
But they're basically laughed out of dinner. Like everyone's laughing at Alice because she doesn't have a family tree.
Oh, and you, Miss Sycamore, have you a family tree?
Me?
Yes.
Why,
My dear sir, don't you know that a sycamore is a tree?
No,
Okay, all right.
no.
Let's
All right, Campbell,
let's.
come on.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. So if you actually watch the movie, the kids have a sign saying,
Even I
like,
got this one.
"Learn the Big Apple for a nickel."
Yeah. An illegal dance.
And when they each do the dance, they go, "Oh, you're the champion now," and they put the sign on each other.
Yep.
The sign ends up on the lady,
Yes.
and so when they go to dinner, it looks like she's a common street.
the sign's still on her.
Because the sign's still on her.
That's
Okay,
why
so
they're
it
walking
looks-
backwards.
Looks like he's picked her up from the streets. She's trying to sell dance lessons. I do quotation marks on a listening format.
Yes.
And then they go to dinner. So they've walked in, forgotten the signs on her. Go.
Right, but they do mention the family tree.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's not the
But that's
main
the bit
reason.
that I
It's not
took
the
away.
main reason.
That's what I
So
took.
Tony kind of realizes that the sign's still on her that he placed.
Yeah.
And so they try walking backwards so that the
Oh.
other people don't see it, knock over all these trays and things coming by to get to a distant table where they can plonk her down and hide the sign that's on her back, right? And then they kind of just shrug off the noise and clutter and mess that they made. Mm-hmm. And they're sitting at the table. Campbell, what happens next?
They do this like weird thing where like he threatens to scream, which scares her into like it's 1930s cinema. Like they're just doing weird shit for the sake of weird shit. So he threatens to scream and then scares her so much that she screams very loudly, which brings more attention to them.
Yeah.
And then the waiter comes over and goes, "What seems to be the issue here?" Put your notes away, Barrett, because this is just turning into me explaining the film. The waiter comes over and then he goes,
Oh, wow.
there was a mouse that ran across, which freaks everyone in the 1930s very scared of very scared of mice. The whole place just erupts, and they're leaving. And then on the way out, he tips the maitre d' and says, "Get some rat traps."
Oh, Mr. Kirby, I'm terribly sorry. Terribly sorry.
Yes, Henry. Buy yourself some mouse traps.
Thank you, Mr.
And so they just pretty much come in, cause a fucking ruckus, and off I go.
Very rude.
That was also very rude about my notes.
I mean, when you don't watch half the movie,
Yeah.
like,
We are the worst critics for a reason. We're supposed to give an illusion of how the story went.
and also apparently you can't take criticism. So yes, worst critics.
Look, he's not coming back as a reoccurring
All
guest.
right, back on track. What happens next?
All right, so we're then getting ready. So we're back. We cut back to the house. We're getting ready for Tony and his parents to come visit.
So, oh my god, So they're getting ready for the following day. So she's come back and said tomorrow they're coming, and then what happens?
I was getting to that.
I
before
know,
you-
but your track record's not great so far. I do apologise. Go on.
All right. All right. So we're preparing for Tony to bring his parents to come and meet Alice's parents. All right. There's a scene where Campbell's favorite character once again is dancing.
She fucking loves it.
Right. I'm pretty sure it's her actually. I didn't actually check.
Someone probably snapped their fingers.
In a white dress, and she's bent over. Can almost see up her dress. Is it her who's got the dart gun or the dart?
granddad.
The granddad's got the dart. It looks like he's about to throw it straight up her. Yep.
Or one of the three. that was rolling
So
up,
they were
yeah.
rolling up the carpet so she
Throw
can
them
do
off
a
a bridge.
dance lesson with a Russian. Did we fight? It was Russian? Okay, because you gave me shit for saying
No,
he was
you're
Russian.
right.
No,
my
he's
bad.
definitely Russian.
He's Russian because he
I've
was
got
going
that
to
in
do
my
dance
notes.
lessons
Yeah.
and stuff. And the Russian is probably one of my favorite characters next to Poppins, just due to what's going to happen later on. In
He's
the
mine,
film.
for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
he takes a bump.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to just tell you a bit of a summary of what's about to happen, and then I'm going to say some words, and I want you guys to react to them.
Oh, you on this word thing.
No,
Okay.
I think Campbell will be good at this. All right. So he's been pretty on to me so far. You just seem to wishy-washy follow whatever I'm saying.
Jeez.
I've got to throw it back at someone. It's not being.
Yeah,
it's bouncing
yeah.
off this one.
Come at me.
Pointing at Campbell there. So Tony's parents end up arriving a day early, and they sort of get sat down in the living room, and there's certain topics of discussion that happen. All right. So the first topic of discussion is stomach ulcers.
Yeah, you've missed out a whole heck of a lot. So they come in, and the
No, hang on. You know what? Both of you take a step back. I'm going to set the scene here because you both biffed it hard.
no, the family is in a ruckus.
I just want to point out that we need to get a 2-hour movie into a 1-hour podcast. We're going to skim over.
Hang on. I'm going to recap it succinctly. Succinctly? Oh, I've got a lisp. I don't know that word. Anyway, briefly. Okay, so what happened was, I'm going to cut back a little bit forward to come backwards. They had planned for Tony's family to come to dinner at Alice's house, right, to meet the family.
Yeah.
So Alice was preparing to set up the whole house and the whole family in a way that wasn't representative of how they normally live, right? Because she was embarrassed and wanted the family to like her, endorse her, so they could get married. That's what happened, right? But Tony, in his infinite wisdom, like the absolute douchebag he is, thought, well, no, I want my family to see the real version of Alice and the real version of her family. So I'm going to bring them over the day before they're actually supposed to get here to catch Alice and the family off guard.
I completely missed that.
Oh.
It shows. It fucking shows.
So they rock up.
You're about to get turned down.
They rock up at the front door, right? They rock up at the front door. Alice opens it, and they're all dressed really prim and proper. They're a very rich family, and Alice is in disarray. The house is in disarray. The family's in disarray. You got Esther dancing her little ass off around the place. The place is nuts, right? So that's what freaks her out, sets the scene for them kind of then sitting down in this dodgy chair the dad does.
Yep.
Right? Then leads into a conversation where you've got the Russians standing around, you've got Poppins, everyone's around, the dad's around. They're all
Just doing weird stuff.
Just doing weird stuff, right? And so you can immediately see that the dad and mum are very uncomfortable. Tony's like just trying to make the best of it. Alice is having an absolute meltdown. And earlier in the movie, I don't think we captured it, but clearly the dad of Tony is struggling with some kind of like issue in the stomach.
I think he was more trying to not eat at this place. So he's saying, "Oh, I've got stomach issues."
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
So back to the stomach ulcer quip. The Russian comes up with, "Oh, it's probably not an upset stomach. You probably got ulcers in the stomach." And then
probably right.
But then he goes on, "Oh, my friend died from that," like, and just like freaks him out completely on
Big
top
time.
of what he's already freaked out about.
And then, I'm okay, go on, Barry.
I don't want you to miss the order of events.
Go on.
Go.
So the next topic of discussion after that is unemployment.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So they talk about unemployment.
Yes.
The next topic of discussion I've got written down is a walrus mask.
Poppins, the absolute legend. You wouldn't believe what this guy's done. So
Please snip this part of the video in, by the way.
It's amazing. So it's kind of calmed down. People are just having a talk and stuff after all the ruckus.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, this Poppins, bloody Poppins, because he's tinkering away. He's making things. He's made this walrus mask, which is freaking
It's
amazing. by
a
the way.
really good mask.
Yes.
But the scene just goes from talking about unemployment to just this horror-style walrus mask in the corner.
Horrifying.
And the overreaction acting sort of thing from the people is just like, oh my God, what the hell's happening? And please go and Google Poppins' face, because him, bloody Poppins.
Well, you know what it reminded me of? Like, this is a real stretch, but I'm going to try. Have you guys seen the movie called Tusk?
Yes.
Really?
No, I just lied to you. So I'm sorry.
Yes, we've both seen it.
God
We
damn.
enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Was it
I
good?
thought this was a podcast about movie critics, but only one of them has actually watched enough movies to call
It's
himself a critic.
about ivory poaching. Yes, go.
No, it's not. Okay. What he looks like with the mask on is what the character in Tusk looks like.
Yeah.
For anyone that actually knows that movie, you'll know the reference. Sorry that my fellow podcasters are terrible. Keep
We have
going.
13 listeners. I don't think that any of those have seen Tusk either.
All right.
It looks like a wolf.
All right. No, I'll put a pint of beer on that someone listening has watched that movie and understood that reference.
All right. So if you've seen that and you've listened to this, send me a message.
Okay. I'd just like to point out, Alex has dropped his bets down from $1 billion to 1 pint of beer.
He was so confident about The Simpsons.
Yeah. He's lowered it now.
Yeah, look, my confidence is waned a little bit.
All right. The next topic of discussion is hobbies, including the harmonica.
Yeah.
Yep. The next topic.
You're correct.
For once.
I really. All right. The next topic of discussion is wrestling.
Oh, Barrett, let Campbell take it away.
I was going to. I wasn't going to say anything. I've done interrupting Campbell.
So, the Russian, my second favorite character next to Poppins.
Beautiful man.
Beautiful, beautiful man. He gets onto the topic of wrestling and how it keeps the mind and body strong. And then he just picks up the fuddy-duddy father, whirls him around his head, and everyone's just losing their shit going, oh my God. And then he just flips him
Yeah.
on his freaking back. And, it's amazing.
Foolishness. Once a wrestler, you will never forget. I have not done it for 6 years, but I forget nothing. Look.
Right. Drops him straight on his back on the floor.
He was the original Dagestani UFC fighter there.
It was so good. So unexpected.
It was a batshit crazy scene from Poppins in the walrus mask to just someone getting slammed.
This movie scored an extra half a star for me just off those events.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yep. All right. We need to speed this up a bit.
Oh, here we go. That'll help you speed it up.
We're falling behind.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
All right. So, police arrive. There's a stalemate that sort of breaks out. There's fireworks going
Good
off.
timing.
The fire brigade are called because the fireworks are going off.
Oh, they're going off hard.
Big fireworks scene. And then they all end up in jail.
Yes.
I mean, we got to hurry up, so I'm not going to...
Shit, we got a lot of movie to talk about.
Yeah, I'm not going to backtrack any.
All right, so I'm going to speed us along a little bit. They get to the prison. It's a pretty cool scene because now you've got the rich people in with the commoners, and they're really taking the piss out of them being in prison with, the poor people. But there is a heartwarming scene, or maybe not heartwarming is the right word, but chipping away at the rich father's armor, I suppose, where, they're kind of having a more heart-to-heart conversation. The rich dad's kind of thrown away the formalities and niceness and is really pissed off that he's in prison with them, with the scum. He's really trying to get out. He's trying to, discard the rest of them, including, the poor father and everyone else. And has a pretty meaningful speech with him. The rich dad says some ugly things, and then the poor dad finally, was it Grandfather Martin? Really lets loose. Let's loosen this rich dad. Tells him a story about how he got to where he was, and that's really important for the rest of the movie. So the Grandfather Martin, he actually tells a story how he, 35 years ago, was a really successful businessman, on track to be just like him, just like this rich dad, right? And then he said that he was going up the elevator one morning and realized how unhappy he was doing what he was doing. And so he pressed the button and went right back down the elevator and started this new journey that the rest of the next 35 years that took place. Mm-hmm. And it seemed to really strike a chord with the rich dad. It really seemed to hit a nerve. Then the poor dad felt really bad about upsetting him, tried to give him his harmonica. He wouldn't take it. He was kind of gripping the bars of the prison cell and just kind of digesting what that poor dad had said to him. And then just placed the harmonica in his jacket pocket, feeling terrible about what he had said to him.
Yes. Yes. Yep. We then move on to a scene where the judge is standing there. He's, finds a little bit funny that the rich guy's been left in what he refers to as the drunk tank. They're both brought out ready to answer to, I guess, a charge of... What was their charge?
Disturbance of the peace.
Disturbance of the peace, yeah.
And production of fireworks.
Yeah, yes, legal production of fireworks.
Exactly.
So basically, the rich guy comes out, and the judge says, "Are all these people here for the rich guy?" And he's like, "No, they're all
friends from Dr. Martin."
Yeah, no, not Dr. Martin.
The TV show Dr. Martin.
No.
Sorry, Martin.
They refer to him by his surname, but it's Grandpa Martin. It's all of his friends.
His last name's Vanderlov, so they say Vanderlov a lot, but yeah.
Yeah. So
Dr. Martin.
We go through a bit of that. He pretty much, he's defending himself. Does he plead guilty or does he get found guilty?
Who?
Grandpa Martin.
No, he did say he was guilty of disturbing the peace.
Yeah.
Kind of shrugged off the rest of it.
No, because they're like a hippie commune. I thought they were kind of like, I don't feel guilty.
Yeah, someone said that they don't feel guilty. Yeah, you're right. Also, I got to add this in. I'm sorry, but the Russian, as they entered the prison cells before they ended up in the courtroom, quote of the movie for me. He goes, "Just like Siberia, only it stinks."
What about the African American help when he walked into the prison?
What do you mean?
He goes, "Feels like home."
Wow.
That I was just quoting the movie. That's not me saying stuff. That's
Campbell. This is a family podcast.
Yeah, and I breezed right over that.
So did I don't hear colour, so.
No, you guys weren't listening to the whole movie.
That's apparent. It's apparent by my telling of what happened. And Campbell, you must have really watched this movie like an eagle. You've taken this way more seriously than we ever anticipated.
I don't know how. Look how many fucking Jack's cans are on the table. How much focus could he have had?
Anyway, back on track.
Got me through.
Grandpa Martin
Yeah.
gets fined. $100 fine. All right. $2,200 US in today's money. So pretty decent fine. Passes the hat around, or someone starts passing the hat around, and everyone chips in and essentially pays for his...
And this is really important because, they're talking about how all the people in the stands of the courtroom are Vanderlov's, Granddad Martin's friends, right? And that's important because another comment when he was having a go at the rich dad and just unleashed, he was talking about, obviously, his journey and his experience, but it made it really clear to him, hey, all this money you're making, you can't take it with you.
It's nothing compared to friendship.
Because you can't take it with you. He drops the movie line in there. I dropped my pen. I was ecstatic. Anyway, so
Were you?
I love it. I love it when they say the name of the movie in the movie.
That's the first time I've seen that.
Oh, it's great. So that was really important because, yeah, he said that, you know, friendships and those relationships are significantly more important.
I think Gamble referenced the Family Guy scene.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Peter Griffin.
Yeah. Every time they say it, you've got to point at the screen.
Yeah.
So, how did the court case go?
So that's sort of Grandpa Martin's been wrapped up. The judge then moves on to the rich parents and asks why they were there. Mm-hmm. And they start, really backtracking on trying to answer. And then Uncle Martin comes in and tries to defend him, saying they were there to buy his property. And then the truth comes out. Right? It seems like they're ashamed of the truth.
Yeah.
That they were there to meet their sons.
They were. And then while they're all trying to fumble around, the poor dad, he's trying to help out the rich dad by, telling him it was about X when it was actually about Y. All these lies are coming out. And then Alice lets loose.
Yes.
Boss bitch moment, probably the first one we've seen in cinema, and just shreds everyone. Says to the judge, that's not what happened. I'll tell you what happened.
Yep.
So they were here to judge me, basically, because I'm trying to marry the son, and they don't like me. And then all this other stuff happened. But guess what? I don't like them. And Tony, I don't like him either. I don't need to marry him. Just let loose. It was great.
All good?
I'll allow it.
It's become the gatekeeper.
Dominated all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next scene, we're back at the house. Alice has run away. Mm-hmm. She sends a letter back home. Does anyone remember what she said in the letter?
I do, but have a stab at it.
I have no idea.
That's what we got you for. This is your job.
So I actually watched the film. In her letter, she pretty much says, like, I've gone away to a friend's place. I can't show my face because it was publicized, the court hearing and stuff, because it was a high-profile case, because the dad's very well-to-do. And then she goes, I can't come back. So the father goes, well, if she can't come back, she's part of our family. Over to you, Barrett. Let's sell the house.
Oh, yes. So
He catches on quick.
That's why he's my partner.
all right, so the grandpa calls up the rich guy to sell the house.
Yes.
Right, makes a deal to sell the house that day. How much does he sell it for?
And keep in mind the offers were $50,000 and then later on $100,000.
Yes. And what was our final sale price?
And because he didn't watch the movie, he doesn't know the price. It was
do.
$25,000.
It was $20,000.
I was going to say $1.
It was $25,000.
Have to put a beer on it.
I'll go $1 billion.
Shake hands. He's going to go $1
I've
billion.
never lost a bet yet.
Go
You
on.
want to go $1 billion?
No, a beer. I'm not betting you $1 billion. You don't have $1 billion to bet.
No, it's
I don't have
fine. I do it all the time.
I will after this bet comes through.
I'll bet you a beer.
Campbell also loves to bet, so
Okay, let's not put that out.
Okay.
Let's not put that out. We like having fun here.
All right. After the sale, they pretty much immediately receive a 10-day vacation notice.
Yep. So
yep.
Yep.
Nothing? Nope.
No, nothing.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the breaks.
Okay. We then cut to a montage of the stock market crashing.
Not really.
What? Did that happen?
All right. It's one of those movies where like shit just happens.
I'm going to be honest with you. The next thing I remember was him sealing the deal in a room full of, old white men.
That happens after the stock market crashing.
Sure. All right, that happens. But he's about to seal the deal with the old white man. You want to speed things along? We'll get to it. So he's in his office building with a bunch of old white men, assuming lawyers and all his other business associates. The deal is sealed. It's done. And then who comes walking through the door?
Dr. Martin from the TV show Dr. Martin.
Dr. Martin.
Martin Clune at his best work here. No. So what is his name?
I actually don't know. That's why I asked you.
All right, this is the only bit of the movie I don't really remember.
Oh, okay. I'll help you.
Just because it's just. Oh, and then this happens. It felt very much like
it was, but it was his competitor, right?
Yeah, his major competitor who was putting out of business through these mergers and acquisitions.
Put out of business, came in really pissed off because the rest of them was celebrating, right, with the rich dad, and he's saying like you've ruined me, rah rah rah. Almost as a heart attack right then and there. They kind of carry him out, and you can see like the rich dad's kind of like trying to digest what happened. He's not feeling anywhere near as good about himself for making this deal. It's the deal of the century, right? It's all in these newspapers and all the rest of it. So then shortly after that, someone whispers in his ear and tells him that person that came in, dead. And that seems to really land for him. So then he goes into the elevator to go up to the top floor to seal the final deal.
Yeah,
sign the
finalise the
final
deal, yep.
paperwork. What does he do next, Barry?
No, this is Campbell's moment.
Actually, it is Campbell's moment. What happens next?
He's in the elevator. He's pressed the button for the top floor and he's going up.
The elevator doors open.
And then he doesn't go through.
Yeah. So the elevator doors open.
So back in the jail cell, he's talking to Doc Martin. And he's Doc Martin has said
I
to
already
him...
explained that. Can you just tell him what happened?
Okay. He gets up to the top story, and due to this story before, he's like, all right, I can either take a step forward or I can go back, fix my relationship with my son, take a better path.
Because that's a good point that you raised there, because just before that, the son had left the business, no longer employed by the dad, even though he's got these wild plans for him, because it's not him. He doesn't want it, and he wants to win Alice back, and he knows part of the way to do that is...
Can I say, anyone listening at home, to watch it is so convoluted.
It's messy.
Just watch it, because us explaining it is just like, I'll watch this back and go, what the frick?
There's a moment there where there's like 50 people in one scene. It's very hard to track. But so, yeah, you're right. So those elevator doors open. There's 50 white men yelling at him, yeah, oh, come here, mate, come here. Let's sign this deal off. And he realizes, he's lost his son in all this. Mm-hmm.
He's lost his passion for life.
He's lost his passion. And he's not happy. And so he presses that button and goes back down the elevator, just like Vanderlove did 35 years ago.
Grandpa Martin. We'll just keep the same consistent name so people know what's going on.
So Dr. Martin,
Not Doctor. Grandpa Martin.
Really powerful moment. Love
that. The next scenes we see is, I guess, everything's fallen apart. Tony wants to talk to Alice. Mm-hmm. And obviously she's still run away. And Grandpa Martin said, in this family, we don't snitch. And he refuses to tell Tony where she is.
But what does he say to Tony?
I missed it, but Campbell got it. And he rewound us for this part.
Just watch the movie. So he goes, in this family, we don't snitch. But we are moving away from here to go be with her. So if you hide in that big dresser upstairs whilst we're moving, I don't know whether you can hear I can't. So a little bit about me. I can't burp. So
and you've had about 55 jacks.
Yeah. I've had absolute burp juice. And so you're just gonna I don't know whether it's gonna pick up on the microphone, but every once in a while you're just gonna hear. Yeah. Anywho, so he's gonna go hide in the dresser. And then he goes to go upstairs and hide in the dresser. And then Alice comes back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which these two would talk, because I came while they were still watching it, and these two were talking through it, and they went, oh, they must have got back together or something. So I had to explain that to them.
Thank you.
We never claim to be good critics.
Yeah, but watching something.
But they've reconnected, right? Great result.
No. You acted like you watched it as well, but you haven't. They haven't reconnected. They see each other. She gets angry because he wouldn't speak up in the courtroom. And they go upstairs to talk and hash things out. Meanwhile, the dad comes back into the house.
The rich dad,
after he's had his little crisis in the elevator.
Yep.
To talk with Doc Martin.
Yeah.
Well, he's a doctor at this stage, isn't he? He's more of a...
Grandpa Martin.
And then Did any of you guys watch the rest of it?
Yeah, you go.
I know, you go.
Yeah.
You got it.
I can summarize it in 5 words.
Do
It's
it.
going to kill Campbell inside. There was a harmonica. All right. The two of them end up playing the harmonica together, which is kind of a moment where the
really
rich
nice.
guy gets to throw back to what his dreams were.
Well, kill me inside is you said 5 words and then gave up. You did 1 word.
What
on
happened to
your
you
finger.
saying words and you were going to get our reaction? What
And then
happened
you
to
went
that?
to number 2 and just did
tried to,
whole
but-
sentences.
Campbell wasn't about it.
So harmonica.
Then it breaks out into Campbell's favorite thing once they're playing the harmonica, which is dancing.
Oh, so this bitch is Esther comes back, and as soon as she hears
She's
a little
so
ditty,
lovely.
Yeah, she was nice.
You didn't meet her, boys. You barely even watched her.
Well, we can't meet her. She's dead.
Yeah,
But she did lots of dancing. What did she ever do to you?
Jesus.
she was just shit. Hey, go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, wrap this up, Barrett.
Hi, I'm going to wrap it up.
Please bring it home. I gotta go pee.
Tony and Alice end up back together.
They do. But more importantly as well, the dad, he's finding that peace, right? So
Yes.
they have that little harmonica scene, and then they kind of, hanging around each other. They're having a good time. And then part that I really loved is the Russians are floating around the house too, and the rich dad picks up the Russian and does the same little wrestling move on him and
Yeah.
drops him on his back.
Body slam.
But-
Except, yep.
So on film, obviously, it's only really one take. He dumps him so hard on his head, and he plays it off the scene like it didn't hurt, but the way he flips him,
Oh, it was almost straight in his head.
it was on the side, straight on his head,
Yeah.
and he's played it off like a champion.
Yeah. He doesn't have the Dagestani genes that the Russian has.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
it was amazing.
So it's really come full circle. The mum, the rich mum's also come in, and she's still fainting all over the place. I don't know if we talked about it. She keeps fainting every time she sees something she doesn't like. But then they have this final scene around this big dinner table, and Doc Martin or Vanderlove or Granddad Martin, whichever one you prefer, then says,
Dr. Martin.
He's then talking to God around this dinner table, right? Talking to God is like saying grace, and everyone's on the table, including obviously Tony, Alice, the rich dad, the rich mum. It's kind of closing in, and just says how appreciative it is of everyone, how, the rich dad has, found peace and, is really accepting now of Alice and Tony's relationship, and also says that the mum is even starting to come around and we're going to work on her a bit more because she's got a little bit to go.
Yep.
And then, close the loop, and that's the end of the movie.
It is, yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
What did you think of the movie?
Hang on.
Campbell?
Wait. Let's not get
okay.
the ratings just yet, Barrett.
All right.
Any other facts from around the room?
Oh, yeah, I do. I have one other one.
Go for it.
So this movie was originally a play. Yeah. It was purchased for $200,000.
You're right.
Yeah. It would be a lot to fit into a play,
Yeah.
I think.
Not one of your better facts, but... Yeah. Campbell?
No, I'm good.
I had 2 things. Always 2 things. One, so this movie won 2 Academy Awards. Best Picture, obviously, or we wouldn't be here. That'd be embarrassing. Whew. And the other Best Director. We talked about that too. But it was nominated for 5 more. So it did really well. Cool.
Nice.
And another random fact, when I was watching this, and I mentioned this to Barrett, I thought this movie is prime for a remake.
Yes.
In this remake culture that we have at the moment, the morals out of it, the themes, all that could be used in a really good rom-com in today's age.
You could just bring it all forward to today.
Right?
Yep.
This is prime for a remake.
I think if you really look into it, it's probably been done about 10
Checked.
times.
Checked. 0.
Directly from that movie?
I want to see a direct remake
Okay. But
with the same name.
Probably not, but a roundabout way. It's
No,
probably
probably
done.
not. Probably not. It's not. Actually.
I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to finding this.
Okay, try. But
Why
I
do
think
you want to
prime for a
fight
remake.
everyone tonight?
Yeah, it's all the Jack
I
Daniels.
have no idea why.
Did you run out? What happened?
I can go again.
I also like for the entire podcast, he's drunk all of these cans, and I'm pointing to a lot of cans on the table right now, but he still hasn't touched the Jacks in the glass.
I just wanted to join in on that
Yeah,
starting bit.
why don't you like the glass? Oh, I was supposed to give you a beer. to share this bit with? Sorry.
I think I'm good.
All right.
think I'm
we really need to wrap this
Okay.
up.
Yeah, can we
All right.
go?
Let's start with our guests first, like we like to do with our guests.
Yeah.
Campbell, what did you think of the movie?
I think 1 star for Poppins, 1 star for the Russian, and Doc Martin. So 3 stars, baby, out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Okay.
Hey, it was a decent enough movie. I was like,
Give us some
honestly,
comments. What did you think?
for a 30s movie, not horrendous. I mean, it won an award. The pacing and story structure was way off. The taxman never came back into the fold.
And guess what? The taxman always comes back.
And that's probably implied more than anything. That he came back and got his. But
You can cheat death, but you can't cheat tax.
yeah. So he was there, but it was a hard watch. I had to watch it in 5 separate intervals.
It's probably why you remember so much.
Yeah. What were you doing during those intervals?
Washing.
Yeah,
But-
nice. Barrett, what did you think? How many Barretts out of 5?
I really enjoyed it. I think it was a watchable movie. I'm trying to remember what I rated other movies that I liked as much. I think It Happened One Night. I rated it as a 4.
I think you gave it a 4. I think I gave it a 4 too.
I think this would be just a touch below that. I'm going to give it probably like a 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, fun fact from my point of view, I also gave it a 3.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I thought not as good as It Happened One Night.
No, that's still the best movie we've watched.
It was
so
a
far.
slow start and it was a bit messy, definitely, but it started to come into its own. Some pretty cool themes, some pretty decent storyline, but just didn't have me anywhere near as hooked as It Happened One Night. But definitely better than some of the crap we've watched recently. So, 3 stars from me.
Perfect.
And
Wow.
Are you guys giving it 3 stars because this is your own opinion and you watched the full thing, or are you just going off my 3 stars?
No, most of the time I just didn't do it then, but I jotted it down beforehand just to prove that I don't do that. Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll accept it.
Thank you.
Wow.
So 3 stars from all of us. I think it's the first time we've been truly aligned. I remember when we tried this with Mandy, our first guest. She just went really the other way and gave it like 7.5 stars.
Yeah. Campbell, how many stars do you give my storytelling?
Look, there's doctors we can see. We can get ADHD medication.
Hang on.
There's things we can do.
How many stars do you give our guest? We should do that.
Well, how many jacks did I have? Because
How many stars do you give Campbell's guest appearance out of 5?
3.
You know what? I don't mean to hurt you, Campbell. I'm going to give you 2.5.
Yeah, no, it was a shocking effort from me.
You got room to grow.
I started talking about how crows last for 99 years. It was shocking.
All right. What are we watching next week?
I'm going home.
Oh, Gone with the Wind.
We are watching Gone with the Wind.
Yes.
And you think we're happy in this episode? We are going to be lit.
Can you elaborate?
I
Why?
found a drinking game on Tumblr.
We are going to be destroyed more than Campbell is right now. And
Yeah.
honestly, like most of the time we do these podcasts, we're only 1 or 2 beers deep.
Yes.
We're pretty reasonable. This is going to be the first one, and we're going to be with a guest.
Yes.
Don't mention it now, but it is a returning guest.
First returning guest.
First returning guest who was adamant that they wanted to be part of this movie.
Yes.
So then we thought the drinking game plus a returning guest. Rest in peace, all of us. It's going to be a wild time.
And you're going to have to put up with it.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Thanks for dialing in again to another episode of The Best by the Worst.
Yeah.
Another great episode down.
Thanks to our beers we drank. So we drank Rocky Ridge and Banks collab.
And guess what? Both of them could be a sponsor.
They could be. So the Rocky Ridge was an oat cream IPA. And I'm drinking right now something I didn't know I'd like, but a Indian Red Lager by Eagle Bay.
I love red ales. Eagle Bay also could be a sponsor.
It's a lager. All right, Campbell's off.
Yeah, I'm off.
We'll wrap this up. Indian Red Lager. I
Nice.
didn't think I'd like a red lager, but
Isn't a sponsor.
could be.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.